All right, good afternoon. Just first of all, just want to really just thank a crowd from Saturday as well, man. What a great energy was out there. And going back and looking at the highlights, it was awesome. There's some great clips when our guys made some plays, and you see particularly the student section back there, everybody just going up, going crazy. So it was incredible. We had several recruits in this weekend, and they were all fired up and about the atmosphere as well. So it all ties in. It all helps us be successful as a program. And just looking back at the film, defensively, man, I thought we were swarming to the ball. A lot of hats onto the running back, which we needed to do. And we played physical. I think, and our offensive line played physical, our defense played physical, and I thought that was obviously a big factor in getting that win. And was really proud of our guys and how they finished it out, and really solid win. A team that came in, it was 5-1, and the stakes just keep getting bigger. You win a game, the next week it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now here we are, going into game 8, going and playing a Colorado team that's the same record as us, and a lot riding on the line. I mean, we're both, sitting right there at the top of the conference with a lot at stake. This is a team that's had made great improvement from last year. I look at the team, and the offense gets a lot of accolades and talked about a lot as they should. Shador's playing at a very, very high level. Travis Hunter, extremely high level. And about 4 other receivers playing at a high level. I mean, they're incredible passing game. And they're hard to defend, they're hard to stop, and they're hard to slow down. And but I do think the defense is getting overlooked a little bit. I think their defense is playing really, really good this year. I think they've played a lot better, as the season has gone. They're a football team that's gotten better. It's what you want. And so, we look at the film, I think they're number 1 in sacks. They had a huge game last week against Arizona. I think they got 7 sacks last week. They're number 1 in tackles for loss defensively. So they're very active. They play hard, which is a sign of a well-coached team. And they had some really good athletes. And, they've got it rolling there. And so, obviously, a tremendous challenge for us as we're going into their environment. This game was sold out in the summer. I think it's Parents' Weekend. It's a hot ticket. And, I think this is what we're all signed up for, to go to the Big 12, to be able to play for games like this and championship level games that it's going to be on, national TV, although on the East Coast late, but on national TV, and, everybody will be watching. So, I think it's going to be everything that we all thought it was going to be being in the Big 12. This is it. And so we're excited about this opportunity.
Coach, against Houston and Texas Tech, you completed, I think, 11 balls that were 15 air yards on the pass, and then 0 for 10 combined the past 2 weeks. Is that a matter of defenses seeing those numbers and really focusing on taking that away? Are you missing some of those, and what do you have to do to get that spark back to your offense?
Yeah, I mean, we've missed a few. I do think, defensively they've done a good job with some of those type throws and balls down the field. I think we've also really more emphasized the other intermediate throws, completions. I think, the last 2 games, there at some point in those games, I mean, Sorsby's been, close to 95% at some point stretch in there. So really for us, we're really trying to get completions, and I think get completions and then let our guys see what they can do with it. And I think that's probably been the main emphasis the last couple of weeks, although you would love to be able to hit some balls down the field and get some big chunk plays. And we need to do that. We need to get better with that. But I do think, defenses have done a good job. I mean, we took a couple of shots this past week and, just couldn't connect to an interception and, a couple of good plays by our DBs. And so, we'll keep at it. We'll keep seeing if we can find some ways to push the ball down the field. But I think as long as we're being efficient and getting the first downs, I mean, that's going to be the key. And then, hopefully we're able to break a tackle here or there once we get the ball down there and get some big plays off of that.
Colorado is a totally different beast from the last couple of weeks. The last 2 teams have been very running back heavy. These guys are going to put 4, maybe 5 receivers out there. Yep. How do you plan to try to slow them down?
Yeah, I mean, we got to continue to do the things we've been doing the last few weeks. It's just going to be a different way, right? I mean, we knew the last 3 weeks. I mean, there was 3 outstanding running backs, 3 of the best in the country. And now, you're playing a team that's going to spread you out and try to, get some space out there for those wide receivers. So we got to do a great job of recognizing, formations and what they're trying to do within those formations, staying on top, They'll hit some plays for sure. They do on everybody, but now we got to get them down. I think that's the big thing, is trying to limit some of those big plays where those guys are catching the ball and running off with it. They have some great speed at wide receiver. There's not just one guy you have to worry about. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there across the board, and somebody's going to get singled up. And so, we got to do a great job of doing that. We have to mix it up on Shedeur. I think if you just allow him to sit in that pocket, he's going to kill you. So you have to be able to do some things to maybe try to get him off the spot. He does a great job when he does get flushed out of the pocket of keeping his eyes up down the field and having some big plays. He believes in his receivers, and so we got to do a great job if he does get out of the pocket of trying to have somebody to contain that. It's a big challenge. I don't know any which way you slice it. I mean, it's a big challenge to try to slow him down and to try to limit what they can do. I do feel like, again, they will get some plays on us, but we got to try to get them down and get them, where we can play defense again. I think that's where our defense has done a good job. We've given up some yards this year, but once we get them down, we've done a good job of holding the field goal attempts.
You guys have led at the half in each of your first 7 games. What does that do for the momentum, the psychological mindset for your team when you lead after 30 minutes going back into the locker room?
Well, I mean, it's obviously a good feeling, to go in the locker room with the lead. And, now it's about what adjustments can you make, and then, how we're going to come out and finish. In a couple of games we didn't finish this year. And we've gotten off to great starts, that's for sure. That certainly gives you a chance. I mean, we certainly want to get off to great starts, but we also want to finish. And we got to do a better job in the second half. We've not done as good, I don't think, in the second half of finishing out games. Now, some of it has to do with the way the game's going. But I also think, we do have to continue to try to score and put points on the board. These teams, particularly these teams, we're getting ready to play in the last 5 games, offensively can score from anywhere and at any time. And so you always got to keep the pedal down and try to keep scoring points.
Whereas near the top of the league in just about every passing category, what attributes of his impress you most?
Yeah, I mean, I think just he plays with such great confidence. I mean, I think that stands out. I mean, he's got a lot of talent and ability, but he's got a lot of confidence in what they're trying to do offensively. I mean, Shedeur's probably had a football in his hand since he could walk. I mean, he's very comfortable throwing the football. He's had great mentors and coaches throughout his whole life. He's been throwing, 7-on-7 his whole life. I mean, he is very, very comfortable sitting out there and having his receivers out and running those routes. He anticipates very well. To the average eye, you may look, and that guy looks covered, but not to him. He'll be able to throw him open, and then there he goes, and now the receiver will go get the ball. I mean, it's just he's got great anticipation and poise when he's playing. He doesn't get rattled. I think he's just got a bunch of attributes, obviously, to be the kind of player that he is, and it obviously shows. I mean, he gives his team a chance to win each and every week. And, with the way their defense has been playing, I think that's why they're sitting there where they are right now with that, combined with that offense.
Corey Kiner, he became the 15th player in school history to eclipse 2,000 rushing yards. Talk about his relentlessness as a running back, just breaking tackles behind the line of scrimmage and just fighting for those harder yards.
Yeah, we talked about these other 3 backs that we played the last 3 weeks, but really Corey's just as good as those guys. Corey's as good as a back there is. When it comes to a guy who can break tackles and run through tackles, I mean, he's as good as anybody in the country. He's got a low center of gravity. He's very strong. He's got really good contact balance, and he gives us a chance. I mean, there's several times Saturday where he's hit at the line of scrimmage. Man, you're thinking, oh man, we're not getting anything. You look up, and all of a sudden he's got 3, 4, 5 yards. I mean, he runs so hard. He's a beast, man. He's been a great leader for us, and a great teammate and a great player. And so obviously super excited to have him on our squad, and he'll be critical this week. This will be a game where they're playing a lot of the man coverage and stacking the box. He's going to have to break some tackles to get some big yards, but I think what we're going to count on him to do that. Really proud of him last week. I mean, he had over 100 yards rushing, and their back at Arizona State came in with a lot of accolades, but Corey being able to outrush him, I mean, it speaks a lot about Corey and our offensive line.
Early in the year, your outside safeties were doing a lot of the tackling, Minkins and Canteen. If you look at the box score from Arizona State, your top 6 tacklers were either linebackers or the star position. Mm-hmm. How much has that improvement in the middle of the defense been key to this defense taking another step?
Yeah, I mean, incredibly important. I really feel like our linebackers over the course of the season have gotten more and more comfortable in their roles and in how to fit the defense. Early in the year I thought we were real loose. With the linebackers and including the star, which is like a linebacker. But we were real loose in our defense there, and we, over the course of they got comfortable. They're tightening it down. They're getting where they're supposed to be. We've had way less missed assignments. Our worst game, obviously defensive, was at Texas Tech, where we had over 40 missed assignments. And we've been in the teens the last few weeks, and so that's just a big difference there. Lining up where you're supposed to line up, fitting where you're supposed to fit, playing downhill and playing physical football, and it's what we needed in these last few games. And so. Now, different challenge this week. We're talking about the guys spreading you out now, so it is going to loosen up your defense. But how we still can fit the run, because they will still run the ball, but how you fit the run is going to be incredibly important this week. And also our alignment. Where are we lining up? Where's our leverage in the secondary and at linebacker? So that's going to be big this week too.
Talked about Corey Kiner being that kind of power back coming out of the backfield. You also have Evan Pryor, who broke away for that 55-yard touchdown, kind of being more of an explosive play type back. What's it like having that thunder lightning approach?
Yeah.
And coming out of the backfield?
Yeah, that's when we were recruiting Evan. That's the one thing that we talked to him about is being a great compliment to Corey, because Corey's coming back and he's our guy. And Evan was good with that. He's just going to be. I knew he's going to be a guy to come in and spell him. But he brings a different approach, right? I mean, when he hits the gas, he's gone. Like Saturday I was like, he's gone. About 10 yards into it, he's just got another gear, and it's fun to watch him. He's had, I don't know so many big runs this year. He can catch the ball out of the backfield too, so he's an electric player. It's a little bit different for the defense too. Is where Corey's going to run you, he can run you over. Evan's going to run around you and then take it the distance. So it's been great to have him. I think Manny's done a great job as well for us to come in. He brings a little bit of juice as well, so it's a little bit different style, and he can catch the ball. So I think we had a really good complement of running backs this year, and to be able to run and catch, and so it's really helped our offense out.
We talk often about your offensive line as a whole, and we talk often about how good Luke is. I think very quietly John Williams is having an excellent season. Yeah. I think the PFF grade is close to 90. How essential has he been specifically in just Brandon's development in the past?
Yeah, I'm really proud of John. You're right. He gets often overlooked, and to play the left tackle spot is normally a spot where everybody looks at, and he's done a really nice job this year. I thought he had a great offseason. He really improved himself from the year before, and really, he's a smart guy, and he came in this year, really worked on what he needed to work on, played in a lot more confidence this year, and he's been very, very solid, but really and truly all those guys up front, we talked about it's going to be a strength of our team coming in this year with the leadership that we have from those guys up front, with Gerhard up front. You got DT and Kendra and John. That's kind of been the mainstay, the leaders of our team, really. And so, I've been proud of John, the way he's played. Obviously, we're going to need it. They got a great defensive line this week, so it'll be another great challenge for us. But, hopefully those guys will continue to play well, give us a chance.
Is this what you envisioned, playing a primetime game at the beginning of the season? Maybe fans couldn't see the vision, but is this something that you kind of figured early when fall camp was getting done?
Well, we always take it one game at a time, but this is part of our goal this season is to play for Big 12 championship. We just taking it one game at a time, 1 week at a time, one day at a time. There's a lot of cliche in there, but this team has really done a great job of staying in the moment. Not looking behind, not looking ahead, just focusing on what we can do this week to get better. Today will be no different. We need to have a great Tuesday practice. But I do want to talk about our leadership, because our leadership, and it started all the way in the off season of those guys getting together, setting a lot of these goals, and then holding each other accountable. And I think that's critical in any kind of team sport. If you get your players to be part of the goal setting and then to hold each other accountable, that's when you got something special. And we kind of felt that this summer. We knew that was happening with this team. You never know what the record's going to be like. You never know how you're going to end up going out and playing. But they've been so connected, and they're fun to be around. And so you can just feel it in the building. We said that last spring, and it has continued throughout the rest of the season. And so, hopefully we'll continue to stay that way, play for each other, and some great things will continue to happen.
Missed fourth down conversion. I'm not sure if you guys realized that was the first missed fourth down of the season. So is fourth down play calling or play calling on fourth down for you different than first, second, or third down?
Yes. We're obviously on fourth down. I think you're going to get certain types of defenses depending on where you're at in the field. And that was a little bit unique because I think we're a 3 or 4 yard line, 4th down. You're up 10. Can you kick it? Now you're up 13. I mean, it really doesn't really help you. So we felt like in that scenario, let's just go for it. You know, and then it comes back to play call. Obviously, it doesn't work. You're like, crap, I should have called something else. But, you know, that's our first one that we missed, 4th down wise. I mean, so we've been really, really good in that category. And, you know, felt like let's try to run it right here. And it was a zone read type play. Could have handed the ball or pulled it and run the option. So we had scored on that play earlier. And but, you know, when you don't get it, it's easy to second guess, just like everybody does. But, you know, we had to go for it in that scenario. And then having gone for it, now you don't get it, they still got the ball, and they got to go a long ways, 96, 7 yards, you know, and that's a long time to waste off the clock. And so we felt good about going for it in that scenario. Yeah, we'd go for it again, but obviously probably would have had a different play call.
When you look at the attributes it takes to be successful at quarterback in a road environment that you're going to be walking into Saturday, does Sorsby essentially check every one of those boxes just naturally?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think Brennan has a good plan of what before the ball is snapped, and I think you've got to have that. You have to play with poise, you know, when you're playing in an environment like that. I mean, you literally have to. I mean, it's going to be a great environment. You got to drown everything out and really focus on exactly what are those 11 guys doing on that side of the ball before you snap it, and then have a plan to know what you're going with the ball. And I think he does a great job with that. And I think our guys do play with poise, and so you're going to have that. We're going to have to play discipline football. And, you know, in this game, you know, I think they've done a good job of winning the turnover margin. We got to win the turnover margin. That's going to be critical, and that comes down to quarterback play a lot of times. You know, so and Brendan's played in big games before, you know, and he's come through and got a lot of confidence in him. But I do believe he is surrounded by a bunch of really good players that have a lot of good confidence as well. So I think you put all that together, and it gives us a great chance.
Most quarterbacks that have Shedor's athleticism, when they get out of the pocket, their eyes are downfield and they're looking to run.
Yeah.
He does not really. I mean, his eyes are downfield looking for somebody to break open. How much time do you have to spend with your defense that you have to respect the fact that he might be back there running around for 6 seconds and he's still going to try to throw it over top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. Number one, I think he really believes in his receivers, you know, and they're really good, that they're going to continue to keep working to get open because they know he'll find them. And, yes, you're right. I mean, so many clips we've gone back and looked at where he's in the pocket. All of a sudden he makes a guy miss. He's very elusive. He gets outside. All he's doing is buying time. He's buying time for those guys to either go deep or come on a cross. And then he's got the athleticism and accuracy to be able to put it on them. And so we got to stay in coverage. You know, I think sometimes you have a tendency, oh, man, the quarterback's out. Let me come out of coverage. I mean, he'll make you pay. So you better stay in coverage right there and you know, see what's going to happen. But you're right. He's looking to look up the field to try to make the big plays, and he's had a bunch of them outside the pocket.
Do you find that it is human nature for you to think that you particularly are coaching against Deion Sanders, but have you had conversations with your team like, these are two teams with identical records overall and Big 12 play to move past the stardom that is on Colorado? Do you find it's human nature for you to think about that, and have you talked with your team about, you know, just realizing this could be a very evenly matched game?
Mm-hmm. No, we've certainly talked about where we're sitting in the standings, where we're at right now, game number 8, playing for a Big 12 championship, two teams with the same record. There's a lot on the line. Yeah, and that's what we talk about. You know, all the other stuff is what everybody else talks about. You know, for us, it's about our preparation of giving a great plan, going against their offense, their defense, their kicking game, and then going out and working on that plan this week and having great confidence in that plan when we go into the game. All the other stuff is for fans, for media, and for all the other. For us, it's about the ball. Put the ball down. It doesn't matter to us and our team. You can put the ball down anywhere, and our guys will be ready to go play. And it's all about the preparation. We're not worried or thinking about all the other stuff when it comes to this. It's all about football.
Follow-up, I asked Dante about this last week. Does the thin air and mile-high altitude, does that change the way you prepare? Does that impact preparation at all? You
know, I think our strength staff, our training staff do a great job throughout the week, no matter where we're playing, of getting our guys ready to play. We push hydration, we push sleep, we push getting extra work in the training room, the weight room. All those things is what we're focusing on, no matter where we're playing or who we're playing. And so that's what we'll focus on again this week. You know, I'm not worried about any of that. Our guys, we've been out. We went out to BYU last year. You know, we've played some situations like that. I mean, we've talked to some people about it. We're not going to be focused on that. We're focused on our preparation and how we handle it from week to week.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Brendan, playing in a primetime game, well, it's a little bit later in primetime, but playing in a primetime game, do you have like a little bit of extra juice going out there?
Oh, yeah, they're always fun to play in. Obviously, Texas Tech was another great experience as well. So, obviously we've had a little bit of experience playing in one, and just a couple obviously throughout the season. But obviously the night games are a blast. So we're all excited to go down there, and it'll be a fun environment.
Having completed a pass over 15 air yards in the past 2 games, how much of that is what you've seen defensively and taking what's there over the middle and some of the shorter stuff? And how much do you feel like we still have to figure out a way to make that a part of what we do? You talk back shoulder throws, things like that Saturday.
Yeah. Obviously, you always want to have the explosive plays where you're throwing it down the field and, obviously connecting on long passes. But sometimes the defense does a good job of taking it away, and that's what they've done the past couple of weeks. Obviously, we still got to try to find a way to, like you said, hook up and try to get that going. So, but, yeah, I think defenses have done a great job of, trying to keep us underneath. But obviously, we got to find ways to get it down the field and, just continue to, like you said, just take what the defense gives us.
Coach talked about how the offensive firepower on Colorado is very prevalent, but he thinks the defense is kind of underrated. Is there anything you see when looking at their defense specifically that stands out?
Just really talented all over the field. Really just there's no weak position, so we got to go out there and we got to execute and just find a way to put points on the board.
Just curious, have you played a game, high school or college, in the thin air, the mile-high altitude prior to Saturday?
I have not. Obviously, being from Texas, you don't have that kind of altitude. But I've been to Colorado obviously a few times. Haven't played a game in it, so this will be a first for me. But just excited for the experience to get down there, and obviously, it's a beautiful campus and beautiful stadium and environment. So I'm just excited to get down there and experience it.
How much has things changed in terms of moving Tony into the slot and being able to have him and Jamoy on the field at the same time? It seems like you kind of have a growing comfort with those two guys that they're going to be where they need to be.
Yeah. Obviously, it was tough for Tony to have to change positions and learn a new position, but obviously, he's done a great job of it, and it's been huge for us because he's been a very big help for us on offense as far as the passing game and running game goes, because he's been doing a great job blocking as well, and obviously with some motion stuff he's been doing a good job of. So, but yeah, it's been huge for us to have all of our weapons on the field at once, and we just got to continue to find a way to get those guys the ball.
Where does your composure stem from? Where do you trace that back to as an athlete?
To be honest, I have no clue. I just always kind of, once I'm out there, I just feel comfortable out there. It could be from playing baseball, just knowing that, there's a good chance you're going to make mistakes, and you just got to, just stay even keel and just find a way to bounce back regardless of what happens. And don't ever get too high, don't ever get too low, and just, have fun while you're out there. That's what it's all about.
You committed here coming off of a tough season. Is it hard to have that vision of we're going to compete for a Big 12 championship, be in that upper echelon as we go through the back half of the season? And how rewarding has it been to see now you're in that place where, we've got a chance, everything ahead of us for the last 5 games?
Yeah, we're right where we want to be. Obviously, a couple of different plays here and there, and we could be undefeated. So we just got to keep that same hunger and mentality throughout the rest of the year, knowing that if we went out, we control our own destiny. And like you said, obviously going into the off season, it wasn't the season that everybody had hoped for last year, but just the vision that they have for this place and this program, I believed in it, and obviously a bunch of the other players have bought in as well. Everybody that we have in the program, so we all feel good about where we are, but we're not satisfied, and we want to continue to win. But I think it just speaks of our character on this team, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to find a way to win.
How much do you credit that stuff to the leadership group that was in place? There's been a lot of talk about Kandra and Corleone and Kiner and those guys kind of setting the tone in the offseason?
Yeah, having those older guys back that have been here for a few years or a couple years, or even, just with being Kandra's first year, for example, just, obviously knowing what this program can be and just kind of working that into the entire team's mentality and, just explaining to the importance of, this is a successful program and we got to get it back to where it needs to be.
Does knowing that Shedeur Sanders is on the other side, is that something you think about going into this game in your preparation? Does that get your competitive side a little more amplified knowing he's on the other side as the quarterback?
Yeah, obviously, he's a great player and one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the country. So, obviously, their offense is talented, but like I said earlier, we gotta score points and obviously, you got to expect that they're going to score points. They're one of the most explosive offenses in the country, but I'm very confident in our defense as well. So we just got to help our defense out and, try to keep the momentum on our side and just continue to put points on the board and string together some long drives and just see where we are at the end of the game.
You had a left guard in Evan Tengestal that hasn't played a whole lot of high major football that gets tossed in there in a pretty big game against Arizona State. How well did he do, and how much does that show the confidence that you guys have in Coach Cardwell on that offensive line, that you're able to throw somebody like that in there and he performs?
Yeah, that was great to see. Obviously, being a young guy who hadn't had any true game experience, big game experience, and he stepped up in a big way and was very, very helpful for us and did a great job up front when he was in. So just knowing that we have that. Just in him and a couple other guys as well, just knowing that we could swap some guys in and out and they can do the job and just find a way to keep the offense going. But, all the credit goes to him. He did a great job.
Sad said he knew within 10 yards that Evan Pryor was in the clear and gone for a touchdown. How quick did you know that was 6?
I can't remember exactly, but I threw the hand up pretty early. Once I saw him make that cut and I turned my head around, I was like, it's going to be tough to catch him. He's pretty dang quick. So, it was a great run by him. Great job blocking it up by all the O-line and everybody there, but especially Jamoy down the field and, keeping that guy out of it. But it was a great run by Evan.
Any other questions? Thanks, Brendan.
Thank y'all.
How much different do you feel like it's been on Saturdays when you go back those first 2 or 3 games to where you guys are at now as a linebacker unit? It feels like you guys are finally kind of setting the tone and being the guys that this defense requires.
It's been great. We've been building every week. We always have confidence in each other. We always help each other when we need to learn new different things. We have a lot of versatility in our room, from the freshmen up to our seniors. So it's just been great progressing throughout every week for us to keep building and keep building. I think we've been playing at a good level and we can up it even more.
Is it something that, you made a lot of plays on Saturday, but, Jake Goday's had, good games, Bartlett as well. Is it kind of like you guys are challenging each other, like, hey, I'm going to try to one-up you, not in a bad way, but just, hey, I see you got that sack or I got that tackle for loss, or you kind of like challenging each other to beat each other that way?
Yeah, it's in a way to where we challenge each other who's going to make what play, but we know one of us is going to be there. So we always working together. Like, we'll have a stunt where I got to come off the edge and JB has to come through the B gap. So however they want to block it, one of us should be free to make that play, and we're just working together to have one of our guys free.
Do you essentially have a 4th linebacker now in Antoine Peak? Like, do you guys treat him as one of your own?
Basically, the way he comes down and fits the run and how he's physical, he really practices that way. And you can see it in the game. It shows up when he's forcing the ball out, the way he practices.
Is any of you trying to get him to teach you how to throw that knockout punch that he does?
After his second time forcing the ball out, I really started paying attention to the way he practices, and every time he tackles the football, he's punching at it. So I've been trying to add that to my game, and it's just been great to see one of our players progress in the way he did, coming from a walk-on to playing big minutes and making a crazy impact to our defense. So it's been great.
Being a guy that was here last year, you're going through coaching change. What's been the biggest difference, like, from this year to last year to this year for you?
I would say our team chemistry. We've built so much from this winter to now with our coaching staff, our strength coaching staff, our health coaching staff with eating and mental toughness, everything. We've just built great chemistry throughout the months, and I think it's paying off as we've been progressing our play every week.
How often growing up do you visualize what's in front of you Saturday night, nationally televised game, hostile environment, and there you are running out of the tunnel? Do you remember that as a kid?
Yeah, since I've been playing tackle football since I was 4, so I've been dreaming about playing on big stages, making plays throughout my years of progressing as an offense and defensive player. So now to do it in these type of games and even for our upcoming game this weekend, it's going to be great to just play in environments like that, play at night to where everybody's watching our game. So just growing up and being able to do that is definitely a blessing.
Colorado averages almost 400 yards a game and 31 points they put on the board almost weekly. What do you guys look at when you're seeing this offensive firepower they have, and what do you think you're going to have to do to stop it?
I think we're going to have to cover really well, get to the quarterback, affect the run game. They're more of a passing team, so we're going to take that as we study them. And I think it's going to be a big week for us to really showcase how well our defense has progressed throughout from past year to this year, throughout the months and games. So I think it's a big challenge for us, and we're ready for that.
What's the over/under on naps Saturday? It's a long way till 10:15 at Eastern time.
Probably over for everybody. Probably over.
A half and take the over?
Yeah, because we're going to have a lot of time to sit throughout the day before we go out there and get ready to play. But it's going to be good for us to treat our bodies well and get that rest so we're out there ready to play.
Any questions for JT? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate y'all.
Coach Satt and Sorsby both said they knew pretty quick that was a touchdown. How quick did you know? Was it as soon as you put your foot in the ground and saw open space, you knew it?
Yeah, kind of basically, just seeing the cutback, weren't many defenders there. So I just kind of used my speed, got in the end zone.
When you're in an open field like that, is it like you just like the turf monster don't get me, or is it just like, hey, I know I'm scoring when you see all that grass? Yeah,
I kind of feel like I'm scoring. I'm very comfortable in space, so when you give me opportunity to be in that predicament, be in that kind of space, I got the most confidence in myself.
How do you keep yourself sharp? Corey's obviously, the bell cow. How do you keep yourself sharp over there, watching him get reps and being ready so that when your number is called, you can hit a home run like that? Yeah,
just being locked in throughout the week. I don't get, not too many reps, obviously, on Saturday, but, staying locked in throughout the week, not worrying about anything else, but when I get my opportunity, making the most of it.
Back off that question, your play was kind of like the play that kind of broke the ice for a team, gave them separation. Like, how proud are you to be able to make that kind of play, and then could you feel the difference on the sideline after you made that big run? Yeah,
for sure. I'm happy to make that play. Anytime I can go in and make a play like that for my teammates, for my team is huge. But after that run, you kind of felt our team get a sense of confidence, and everyone, kind of started to believe, we are a good team and we can do this. We can win good games, tough games against good opponents.
After the Pitt game, what was the locker room like? How did you guys not let that negativity kind of seep in, and how did you use that to propel, a really, really strong series of plays since then?
Yeah, we, after that Pitt game, you get two choices. You either, soak in it and feel bad for yourself and don't get better, or you just, kind of keep it in your back pocket, keep that feeling with you, because we obviously knew we had more football to play. So it was a good job by everyone, the whole team. Just really keeping that feeling, and it's not a lost feeling. Every time we step onto the field, we have that feeling in our pocket. So every time we step onto the field, we go as hard as we can.
Colorado is a team that's probably going to show a lot of man, so it's going to be probably more of a loaded box. How's your preparation different this week, knowing you're going to have probably extra defender that you might have to make miss when it comes time for that run?
It's the same as every week. Teams play us with kind of extra defender in the box anyway, just because they know we like to run the ball, a pretty good bit. So Just not treating this week any different than we would any other week. Preparing the same way as we would if we were playing anyone else. So.
A little bit of extra juice, knowing that you guys are, well, it's not really prime time, but later game. Do you have any extra juice going out there, knowing you're going to have a lot of eyes on you?
Yeah, I feel like this whole team's got some extra juice, not because it's a later game, but because we're playing meaningful football right now, heading into the month of November. So, and that's our goal, to try and reach Dallas. That's still within reach for us. So, everyone has that on their mind.
Colorado's playmakers are somewhat of household names now if you watch a ton of college football because they're on national TV every week. Your thoughts on backing up the numbers you guys have already put together this year and showing America what the Bearcats can do on offense as well?
Yeah, we got guys too. So just like they got guys, we got guys too, and we're going to put the ball down. We're going to play. We're going to show them that we have guys as well.
Cool. Any other questions? Thanks, Evan.
Yep.